Believe it or not, the state of Virginia was referred to as Igbo land during colonial times due to the significant presence of Igbo people in the Igbo among the enslaved Africans. This location gave rise to a community called Israel Hill in Prince Edward County, Virginia, 1810, because the free blacks residing there identified themselves as Israelites. And if you have Igbo ancestry like myself, then you should consider yourself the same, because there's multiple sources proving that we are Igbo, Eber, Hebo, Hebrew, which is why Nat Turner, the preacher, was so passionate about the Bible and led the deadliest slave rebellion in U.S. history, because he was said to be an Igbo himself. This is one reason why they created the slave Bible, because when we begin to uncover our ancestral history within the text, we started to rebel. So, if there's any disbelief about Igbo culture being Israel culture, then here's a book by Odi Magalu. And as you can see, it's pretty darn obvious why the free blacks of Israel Hill in Prince Edward County, Virginia, identified themselves as Israelites.
In the early 1800s, a community was established in Prince Edward County, Virginia, that consisted of freed slaves who called themselves Israelites. Richard Randolph, a former slave owner who was also a cousin of Thomas Jefferson, documented in his will before his death in 1796 that he desired that his 90 slaves be granted their freedom and 400 acres of his land. In 1810, his widow honored his wishes, freeing the slaves and granting them 350 acres of land. The former slaves are responsible for giving the name Israel Hill to the community they established on the land, and the residents of the community called themselves Israelites. It is within reason that we ask ourselves if these former slaves who established the once thriving community of Israel Hill were making a statement about their cultural identity, or simply likening themselves to the ancient Israelites who were once freed from captivity in Egypt. We should perhaps consider the possibility that throughout their generations they were taught by their elders that they were in fact the children of Israel. There is much historical evidence to support this notion. Today, there remains a few African American families who live in Israel Hill, at least one of which that is believed to consist of descendants of the early settlers. Over the last 3 generations, many Israelites left to pursue opportunities in surrounding areas. Much of the area is now wooded and uninhabited. However, this community was once nearly as populated and well organized as the later developed Black Wall Street in Tulsa, Oklahoma.